Welcome future leaders to the third part of our 4-part video series. My name is Benjamin Selbyhill and I'm a leadership through lifestyle coach at I Choose Awesome. Now, how did we go with our second instalment? We were able to organise some meetings with our managers and really start to put ourselves on that radar. Now, ensure you do that and continue to work on those principles that we spoke about in the second video, because they're really, really important in helping you develop and fast track that development. Alright, the third video today, it's all about setting effective personal ambitions and the interplay of those ambitions with your leadership aspirations. Where do they sit and how do they give you added additional motivation? So by the end of today's video, you'll have set 5 clear personal ambitions that will serve you as inspiration and focus through as you embark on this leadership journey. It's really important to have that crystal clear focus. Now, if we don't set these personal ambitions, what happens? Well, you don't have focus, for one thing, and you lack inspiration and motivation, and chances are you'll buckle when things start to get tough. The end result is you start to wander aimlessly, which is what a lot of people already out there are doing. On the flip side of that, you apply everything that I say, and the positive effects are in abundance. You've got unwavering focus and passion for what it is you're working towards. You've got a great sense of purpose that allows you to meet each day with enthusiasm. And ultimately, you open yourself up to the opportunity of being a world changer, a world leader. Someone perhaps along the lines of, Thomas Edison. There's a man who showed great resilience in creating the light bulb. He said, I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that didn't work. Now ask yourself at this moment, are you that in tune with your passion and connected to it that you could trial and fail, or trial and not find the correct way 10,000 times and continue to do it until you get that desired result? A lot of us perhaps not, but once we get in tune with that, that's the sort of motivation that you tap into. So there's a few key principles that we need to run through in order to identify our personal passion, or our personal ambitions rather. Firstly, we need to identify your passion. What is it that you're really passionate about? What is it that you want to become? What is it that you want to do? I don't know if any of us have seen the movie Cinderella Man with Russell Crowe. He plays a man by the names, it's based on a true story, plays a man by the names of James J. Braddock. He was a boxer throughout the Depression in the 1920s and 30s. And he was going through a really tough spot. He had a few kids that got taken away from him because he couldn't look after them. They went to his aunties, they went to the children's aunties and uncles, his wife's sister. And he was so embarrassed by this. He used to be a boxer, but he'd banged up his hand and was doing labouring work, but it wasn't paying very well and he just got let off. An opportunity presents itself where he can step up to a fight. So he jumps at it. He knows what he needs to do. He's so focused on his passion. It's his family. It's survival. He needs to win in order for them to go on, in order for them to be fed. So what he does is he ends up winning the fight. It's absolutely phenomenal. But there's a man that could identify his passion and knew what he was working towards. And he wasn't going to stop until he got there. So we need to identify our passion first. Secondly, we can look to our past to identify this passion. It's one thing saying look for your passion, but it's another thing entirely actually finding it and understanding what it is. So we can look to our past. What is it that you've done throughout the course of your life up until this date that's recurring? Is there a recurring theme of something that you enjoy? I know for me, I did a similar thing. I came to a juncture. I finished university after not really being all that into the course that I did. I did design, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I looked into my past and I realised that physical activity and exercise was always there. I always had a passion for being healthy and learning more about that. So I decided to do my personal training certificate. Needless to say, I worked on cruise ships, I ran a personal training studio for 5 or 6 years and then got into leadership and development, which is all underlining and underpinning itself. So take a moment to look back over your life to date and think about the things you've always done that have never been an effort that you've enjoyed doing. Because more often than not, they're the gold nuggets, they're your passion. Our third principle, if you can't find your passion in your past, look to your future. This helps with setting those ambitions. What is it that you want to achieve in the future? What is it that immediately comes to mind? So I want us to partake in a little bit of an exercise at this moment. Just close your eyes. It's only going to take about a minute. Clear the canvas. Make it a blank canvas. So you can't see anything at the moment. And now paint the picture. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Where are you? Engage the senses. What are you doing? Who are you with? Ask the big W questions. Who, what, where, and when. Secondly, engage those senses. What do you see? What are the visuals? What can you feel? You're on a beach, can you feel the sand between your toes? What is it you can reach out and touch? What's the material like of your top? What can you smell? What can you taste? Engage those senses and paint a vivid picture. Paint it so it feels as if you can reach out and touch it. Now, I'm sure we're developing a little bit of a picture. You can open your eyes now, but chances are the things that you see for yourself there, they're the things that you're passionate about. You're probably seeing your family in that picture. You might want to be financially free. You might be on a beautiful remote island. Any of those things can be identified as your passion. It's up to you to sift through that. And that leads us to that fourth principle. Write down your ambitions. Once you've got an idea as to what it is you want to achieve, you've got to write them down and bring them to life. Otherwise, they just remain thoughts in your head and you've got nothing to work to. So think of the reason people don't achieve their personal ambitions is because they need to hold themselves accountable. Think of it like this. You need to be your own boss when it comes to your personal ambitions. Like when you go to work, your boss sets the targets. They write them down definitively. There's KPIs, there's measurements for success and failure. You need to do that for your own ambitions. Establish exactly what they are. Set the deadlines. Make them crystal clear in your mind so that you can work towards them. I had a client named Sarah, and she was working for 5 years in this one company. And she just recently quit, but she was lacking a bit of direction, so she came and wanted to work with us. She knew she wanted to make a difference. She wanted to be a leader, but she didn't know what it was that she was passionate about. So we went through this process, and in amongst delving into her past, we uncovered her passion. She'd always worked with animals. She was an animal lover. She was really, really passionate about animals. And that sort of set her off on the tangent of working with animals and finding her next job working in that sort of field. Evidently, as a result of identifying her passion and knowing where she wanted to concentrate her energies, she got a job with an animal rights company. And she started to climb that ladder really, really quickly because of the skills she'd acquired over the past 5 years working at this other company. And then combining that with her skill set, with her passion, she just skyrocketed. It's amazing what you can achieve when you've got a crystal clear vision of what it is you want to achieve. So why is it that you want crystal clear ambitions? What would it do for you? Ask yourself this question now. Scribble down some answers. If your mind's starting to race with ideas, write them down. Why do you want crystal clear ambitions? It's so important, and it's really not all that challenging to establish, but you've got to go through that process. Identify your passion first. Shortlist. Make a short list of the things you could potentially be passionate about that you enjoy. Look to your past. Dig up the things that you've enjoyed doing in the past. Put them down on paper. Develop and really push that exercise that we briefly did just previously. Look into your future. What is it that you see for yourself? Detail it. Write down to the finest detail. Write down to the material that you're wearing, the clothes that you're wearing. Write it down. Paint that picture so that you can work right towards that. And then lastly, write them down. There's so much power in that action. Bringing it to life, taking it out of your head and bringing those crystal clear ambitions to life on paper, setting definitive dates and definitive KPIs and measurements. So important. All right, that's about all for part 3 of this 4-part video series today. Ensure you follow through and you do the things that you need to do in order to focus and recognise those ambitions. In the final part, in part 4 of this series, we're going to be talking about where you're at now and where you want to go, and developing KPIs in order to measure your success and to keep you accountable. Really important. Just like you would at work. It's going to be a really great way to finish and a really important final part to this 4-part series. With that being said, my name is Benjamin Selbyhill. Keep choosing awesomeness in all that you do and inspiring all those other fellow leaders around you, and we'll see you in the last video.